I want you guys to look at this shot of Gohan. This is a shot of a trail of Gohan in Dragon Ball Heroes. A couple of years ago now. This is from Dragon Ball Heroes. Gohan, Super Saiyan, I guess, in his old gi from the Cell games. I want you to look at this, and the chapter of where the total power and the fight has already got introduced in the manga. Okay, the design for Gohan is very reminiscent of the outfit we got here. Look at that and tell me that does not scream inspiration from Dragon Ball Heroes. And I want you to think about this moving forward. Like, I mentioned this on part 1 and I mentioned this from part 2. It's little concepts like that can make a big difference in a series. That can hype up an arc or any series for that matter. A lot of hype was built for Gohan, not only because Gohan was getting back into the spotlight, but also because Gohan was finally getting to the groove. He was already being foreshadowed to have a new mode that was already previously established in the anime. We did not get that because obviously with time restraints now, because we don't have an air date, because we don't know the status or the future of Dragon Ball Super in the anime, or Dragon Ball in general. We know there's a movie on the way and that's it. After that, everything's up in the air. So I want you to look at this and I want you to think to yourselves, do you think this is a coincidence that now in the manga, people like Gohan are getting throwback outfits they're being positioned as they should? We have no idea what Toyotaro is going to do with these characters moving forward. It could be just like Ultimate Gohan, but Toyotaro can spin a couple of things like he did with Vegeta, having Super Saiyan God transition to Super Saiyan Blue to strengthen his attacks, but go back into Super Saiyan God and switch back and forth so he doesn't lose stamina. Okay, that concept was in the Goku Black arc, and it's the same thing here. That's going to be incorporated into the manga, I would think, for Vegeta moving forward. Who knows what the hell we're going to get with Goku when it comes to Ultra Instinct. We could get a completely different new form. We have so many concepts like Mastered Super Saiyan Blue. So I want you to think to yourselves, and before I even go even further, do you think it's a coincidence now that concepts like this, like Gohan with his old gi, little concepts like this have not been incorporated from the likes of Dragon Ball Heroes? I know not everything is, but you have to admit that there is a striking resemblance right now. And the fact is, so do you think this is just a coincidence or not? And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because there's a lot of Dragon Ball discussion in this video, because there's a mention of a new Dragon Ball game on the horizon. There's hoping that maybe stuff like Dragon Ball Heroes should be actually incorporated into, or should have been incorporated into Super. And I want you to look at that real quickly, because it's been the exact same thing I have been pushing for the last 2 years, ever since before the Goku Black arc. I made a video on this. I think it would be kind of cool to bring a character like Demigod. I know Goku Black is popular, but you have to really ask yourself, was it worth it considering the execution of it? Did it make sense? Not everything in that arc made sense, and would it have been any better had a different character been introduced? Let me know what you guys think. So, transitioning over to that little segue, I wanted to start with that because it's important. It's an important part, an important topic that I've been discussing on this channel for the longest time, and it's going to be a big part of this video on Anime Weekly Update, episode 9, part number 3. I want to thank you guys for tuning back into the channel. Again, hit that bell and turn on all notifications when I upload a video. Follow me on Twitter and Google for your opinions on Dragon Ball, on One Piece, anything related to anime, even Marvel, DC. If you guys want to go that route, that's what Twitter's there for. And obviously, you'll get the notification when I upload as well, if you follow me on Twitter and Google. Let's start this, man. And obviously, starting with Dragon Ball fans wishing Super would incorporate Dragon Ball Heroes into the stories franchise with what we have now, which is okay, but the execution is subpar at best when it comes to the total power. But this, I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out I've been pushing, I don't know how many times on this channel. I've been talking about this God knows how many times now. I haven't covered this on part 2 and 1, but I don't think you can incorporate this into the anime anymore unless you revamp a new series. And we still have no confirmation of if that's going to take place, but Super Dragon Ball Heroes is a highly popular arcade game in Japan because of the many unique additions it adds to Dragon Ball series, much like the games like Fighters and Xenoverse. Dragon Ball series such as a wacky time traveler, allowing Dragon Ball GT versions of characters to interact with Dragon Ball Super characters. Latest story arc, Universe Mission 2, Prison Planet, seems so appealing. Fans wished Super were adapting it instead. Really, if you incorporate little bits like, and the thing is, you don't have to take like the complete story of each game like the Xenoverse or Fighters, but if you take characters and concepts like that and add it to the anime, or in this case, I'm hoping the manga picks up with this because it looks like that has more of a structure to it. And even if Super were to go this route, would you honestly, given the execution, and not everything is perfect and not everything is rubbish when it comes to Super, but the execution is, would you really trust Toei with handling concepts like this? Personally, you want my opinion, if they're going to do this with Super, I'd rather they do it in the manga, personally, because we know for a fact that Demon World is canon because of Deborah, right? So you can incorporate that into the manga. Prison Planet arc, a new character named Fo, aka Toa Amira's son, seen in both Dragon Ball Heroes and Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, who seeks out strong warriors in order to use them in an experiment. He thus kidnaps future Trunks and places him on a prison planet, and players are tasked with saving him. So once again, Xenoverse Trunks fall on this trope of being completely useless. So the arc involves Gohan teaming up with the complete Ultra Instinct Goku. So his new Ultra Instinct mode has already been used for this. Talk about hyping up the fact. You see where I'm going with this? If you incorporated little bits like this with Gohan actually interact with Goku with his new mode, can you imagine how much more popular Super would have been? For a Super Kamehameha wave that pushes through around the Earth before Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Evolution Vegeta. Now, I'm going to get into this because this is also part of the Anime Weekly update when it comes to Vegeta's new mode and its official new name. For his hits him with a final flash. So you have a combo of Goku, Gohan, and Vegeta all powered up to the max against Fu. So it's forcing, Fu, the son of Toa Mira, is forcing Goku to go complete Ultra Instinct, Master version, Gohan to go all out, and Vegeta to go all out. If that doesn't scream out a Dragon Ball movie or OVA to you, I don't know what will. I don't know what else to tell you, man. If a trailer of the actual Dragon Ball Heroes has actually been dropped, I'll probably check that out and give you my thoughts on that throughout the week. But developed by Dimson, Super Dragon Ball Heroes is the latest digital card fighting game and the top earner in the digital card arcade scene. The update brought enhanced graphics, the ability to play as even 7 characters at the same time, and additions to lore like Super Saiyan 3 Bardock. Honestly, it's just a long version of saying it's developing mods. Fans will most likely recognize some of the characters who appear in Xenoverse and Dragon Ball Online, Dragon Ball Heroes, etc., etc. Adds many fan service things to the series, like Super Saiyan 4 Gohan. That is fan service, no question. A fusion of Super Android 17 with Android 18 Time Patrol. That is completely weird. A fusion of Super Android 17 with 18. Wasn't Super Android 17 already fused? So the Time Patrol and greater role for the mystical demons in the series like Deborah. Okay, so concepts like that you can follow. The one thing I don't agree with when it comes to like Heroes or sometimes Xenoverse is the power scaling. Okay, like for instance, in the previous trailer of Heroes, we had Deborah going up against Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. I'm sorry, no, that's not possible. Okay, certain things like that, like power scaling, have to be toned down a bit. I know things are done for fan service, but strip that away and you have like the concepts, like these stories, the intriguing characters we get introduced to Heroes and Xenoverse and Fighters in Android 21's case. It screams to me more content. Really hoping I guess it just depends where Toyotaro decides to take the manga after the Tournament of Power, or unless he wraps it up there. Like I said, and I've pointed this out many times, there's no way stuff like this goes unnoticed. No way in hell. I think even Toriyama has to notice how popular this is. And there's already rumblings of Toriyama not being done with Dragon Ball. I'm shocked if this actually turns out to be the case, because I've been saying this, like, it looks like we add characters like Foe, we add like DLC content like this. It just screams out Xenoverse 3. So Arc System Works Dragon Ball FighterZ may have delivered a concrete fighting game experience for anime fans, fighting games alike. But there's a major debate in the fandom surrounding other major fighting games, Dragon Ball fighting game, Xenoverse. So I personally think the story of Xenoverse beats FighterZ. That's just my opinion. I'm not saying it isn't good. I mean, FighterZ has its moments, but when you talk about stories and how cool certain concepts are, like for instance, bringing the likes of Cell into this, Frieza, Boo, etc., Broly, I think the story of Xenoverse has FighterZ beat. That's just my opinion. But FighterZ is a popular game, and Android 21 obviously popular, so there's no reason why you can't incorporate that into Super either. Regardless of where you stand in that debate, the news of a possible third entry would likely get, unless the latest rumor saying that instead of a new Xenoverse title, the next Dragon Ball Z game is instead an actual role-play game based on the original Dragon Ball series. So according to a leak from Ben, as reported on Shoyuken, a leaker who's become prominent in the fighting game community for revealing the likes of Soul Calibur 6, Injustice 2 DLC characters, and the addition of Bardock and Broly to Dragon Ball FighterZ that is the DLC. I don't know why they weren't incorporated to the actual game itself instead of adding them to a DLC. The same thing applies to Vegito and Gogeta. Why weren't they incorporated into the actual game? So Dragon Ball FighterZ before the initial release states that the next Dragon Ball game in production is not the off-rumored Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3, but instead an action RPG game based on the original Dragon Ball series. And while this will definitely take out the wind of sails of Xenoverse fans, at least they currently have a new content to chew on. Even if it's not Xenoverse, the fact is you still have these characters to work with future projects, which is something that Super needs to do. Get rid of the Super title and bring a different series back with these concepts for this game. I hope they bring characters like Toa though, in Xenoverse, who were popular in Xenoverse, Demigra, bring those concepts, and even Android 21, as popular as that. I'm sure stuff like this doesn't go unnoticed to the people that develop these games. No question about it, they hear the fans, because if they don't, then they can't draw people in with buying these games. So go on, look at the graphics. I mean, say what you want about fighters, but the graphics have been amazing. Xenoverse 3, you can say the same thing. So I'm not against that at all. So a completely different, maybe a different game. Fans wanting Dragon Ball Heroes or concepts like Heroes to be incorporated into future Dragon Ball projects, aka like Super. So do you think that should be incorporated into the manga after the Tournament of Power, if it goes beyond that in the manga for Toyotaro? I guess a visual for High School DxD Hero Season 4. Not too much to go over. It looks like 2 new characters introduced. You have Issei, you have Azia, you have pretty much Zenobia, you have Irina, etc., etc. There's no Rias and there's no Aquino. So it's going to be interesting to see what these characters' role is in Season 4. So it looks like these characters are going to be highlighted for one reason or another. You got the 2 characters, one's with possibly a sword, and the other looks like a elf girl, and she has like cat ears, so that's going to be interesting. Something similar to Kaneko, so it's going to be interesting to see where Season 4 goes, man. But that is pretty much it when it comes to news, and that's pretty much it for Anime Weekly Update. So let me know your thoughts on that down below on High School DxD Season 4 Hero. Are you hyped about that? Are you excited for what's to come in April? Because I sure am. So, and that is pretty much it for Anime Weekly Update. Like this video if you did. Subscribe channel for more. Catch you guys on the next one.